Right. Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be continuing where we left off at last session. So, welcome to Microsoft Monthly Session 3 for the month of November. So, I'll just share my screen to begin. This is where we left off during the last session. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Can you give a thumbs up if I'm audible? Okay, thank you. So, this is where we left off during the last session. So this looks absolute trash, yeah. I can search for a movie, like if I'm searching for the movie Inception and I make a spelling mistake, uh, it still shows up Inception. So using rapid fuzz and the algorithms we discussed in the previous sessions, we build this. It does its job, but it looks really ugly. So also, if we select a movie, say Harry Potter, not okay, Batman. Movies similar to Batman will be recommended using transformers. But uh, it's supposed to work. Yeah, it works. But it looks really ugly. Yeah, when we are talking about building the next Netflix, we have to at least think about the user. We have to build something someone will want to use. An application which just displays a list is not ideally something anyone would use. Yeah. So what today's workshop will be is we will be working on building a better user interface using Streamlit itself. You're not going to use vibe coding tools or anything. It's going to use Streamlit, a small prototype website, but it's actually going to be useful. We are also going to add more features such as I as a user, if I like 3 to 4 movies, the system should be able to recommend me the fourth movie, the movie which is similar to what do you call it? Say, for example, I like Transformers, I like Inception, I like the movie Resident Evil. The system should be able to recommend me movies which are similar to these three movies. We'll also be going to add a system which does that. It's basically using algorithms we discussed before. So there's nothing groundbreaking we're going to discuss today. It's just going to be code and a bit of UI design. So this is our previous code. I'll just go over it. This is for reading our data set. Uh, you can use this also because most modern libraries also accept any type of file addressing. So data set TMBD 5000 movies. This is our data set. I open it using pandas. Then this is the function we created last session to search for movies using rapid fuzz. Then this is the embeddings which we created using sentence transformers and stored it in a pickle file. It's uh, I unfortunately forgot to save it, but basically we use the sentence transformers. Okay, it's here. We use the sentence transformers to create embeddings, and we stored it in a pickle file called embeddings.pickle, and it's here. We load that pickle file. Uh, we load that pickle file, and this is the function similar movies, which prints out movies which are similar to a selected movie, which is what we see here. I select Batman, be a Superman, and it gives out movies which are similar to it. So what we are planning to build is, I'll just show you what we are planning to build by the end of this workshop. I've already created it. New.py. I'm using UV run because I'm using UV as my package manager. So this, let it load. Okay, this is what we are planning to build. Uh, Avatar is defaultly selected, and I can select movies which are similar to Avatar. So Final Fantasy. I can see movies which are similar to Final Fantasy. If I want to search, if I want to star a movie, say for example this and this, I'll get movies which are similar to these two. Using a function which is similar to the cosine sim. It's basically the cosine similarity function, but we're going to perform some mathematical operation on the cosine similarity function to get to be able to pass in two movies instead of one. Okay, so we'll be discussing that and the basic search operation. Batman. Uh, these are the search results. And yeah, that's it. So now let's get to the code. So we have this, we have the title. This is fine. Uh, it's exactly the same as what we have. Uh, then after that, okay. After that, we need to store some variables within our session. Yeah. When I open a Streamlit session, I need to be able to select a movie. And when I select a movie, this should change. So how do I store that? You could say you could use variables, but variables are not dynamic. Yeah, I cannot change variables in line. I could do that, but when it comes to UI, we use states. States are kind of like a variable, but it does not have a what do you call a static value. So in Streamlit, you define states like st st because I imported Streamlit as st. If you import Streamlit directly, you will use Streamlit st dot session state. Uh, the variable name, would be no, it will be in this format. Sorry, session state. Uh, what do you call the selected movie? Selected movie. It will be none. Or since we are assigning movies based on index, we can have something like 0. If you remember from our exploratory data analysis we did, the first movie here is Avatar. This is the data set. I'm using df head and this is the first movie, right? First movie is Avatar. So the session says the first movie is Avatar. So we'll create one more state variable, session state favorites. So I should be able to star some movies and I should be able to get similar movies to it. Like here, I'm passing in an index of one movie, and I'm obtaining what? I'm obtaining movies which are similar to it. Instead of this, I should be able to pass in like a set of movies, like 3 to 4 movies, and I should be able to obtain movies which are similar to that. Okay, we'll go into creating that function just in a minute. Before that, I want to get the UI ready. So session state. I'll just named it. I'll just mean like movies or something. It'll be an empty list which will be filled with indices later on, such as if I hearted Avatar, the index 0 will be there. If I heart another movie at index 13, it will be there, and so on. Yeah. So initially it will be an empty list. Okay. Now now we'll go down to now we have a search button, a search bar. Let me refer this one. Okay, yeah, the search bar is here. It's still in the same location. So fine, I guess it's fine. Then if search, we were doing if search, we will call the search movies function and the subheader would be results and it will print out the movies in a data frame. This printing out movies in a data frame, we're not running a machine learning algorithm and visualizing a data set. Yeah. So printing out directly, what do you call, displaying a data set, data frame directly does not fit our purpose. We want a Netflix. We want a good user interface. So to do that, instead of directly printing out a data frame, what we would be doing is uh, before that, this is if search, yeah. We have something called if selected movie. We'll do the selected movie first because according to our reference, the selected movie comes first. It'll be the highlight. If you open Netflix, a big movie will show up. This is the most recommended movie to you. We want something like that in the case of selected movie here. So we'll keep the selected movie like towards we'll keep it on the top. Control X below the text input, of course. No, we'll keep it here and no, okay, below the text input. So if selected movie will be a list, okay, now selected row. So now we need to display the selected movie, yeah. So initially what we want, the selected movie is 0. We do not need a list to select a movie. We'll be having other lists from the recommended, and right now if we are looking at this, this has and the entirety of the database. We do not need something like this. We can have it, but we already have a search function which compensates for this, yeah. So we do not need. So instead of that, we can completely get rid of this selected movie variable, since we have a state variable called selected movie, which is pointing to the index 0, which has avatar. So yeah, now we will, okay, sorry. Now we'll be finding out what is the selected movie. Now we want to display that div, yeah, the last div we just saw here, which is ghost in this example. It will be avatar when we are doing it. Okay, so now we'll call it row. This is the last row, and we have a data frame. And in the data frame, we have to locate an object. We'll use iloc. It's a function. You don't need to know all the functions in the data frame. You can just use ChatGPT, or you can refer to the documentation at all times. And what is the, what do you call, what is the thing you want to refer? It's the session state, selected st.session state is selected movie, yeah. So I'll be typing that out, and then this has the data frame, what do you call, this has the row associated with this index. So it has this row from the data set. So now we have all the details we need to build this object. Now we'll start building the object, yeah. So selected movie is row.title. Let me just turn off autofill. Then we'll also display the tagline. Tagline is equal to row dot tagline. It's basically the exact variables which are used for the column names here. Okay, so we obtained this. We have this stored in a variable right now. Now we need to display it. So Streamlit has this amazing feature where you can just write down Markdown. Markdown is basically HTML code. It's basically st, which is Streamlit dot Markdown, and then you open brackets. It's not this. Then you write single quotes. Wait, what? So in HTML, if you want something like this, there are many ways of creating it. One of the best ways of creating an object with borders and all that is with the, what do you call, with the place, I'm not sure what exactly to call it, using the component div. So I create a div. This is the opening tag for a div, and this is the closing tag for a div. All right. And what I'll every time if you want to style a div using CSS, use class names. So I'm going to assign the class selected movie div, selected movie. So this is a class name. I can later give link it with a CSS code so that it can look beautiful. So what should be inside the div, inside this div? Okay. I think we need to have the variable name selected movie. Yeah. So when we are writing multi-line strings in Python, a single quote won't be enough. You need to put three quotes. So that is why I was getting errors. Now I can press enter and it will be still be considered one string. All right. Now after that, I need h1. I need a header. H1 is a header one. I'll close the header one. And what should be inside the header one? Inside the header one, I want the title of the movie, which is selected. All right. So the title of the movie selected is stored in the variable selected movie. Now this is the state variable, and this is the Python variable. The state variable stays even after I change perform operations. The No, the state variable changes and the Python variables keep on changing depending on the code, how the code executes. And the state variable stays as long as I don't refresh the, what do you call, refresh the page. So I want to put in whatever is in this variable into the markdown. So how do I do that? I cannot just type in selected movie, yeah? That doesn't work. So in Python, there's a thing called f strings where you can embed variables inside strings. So before I start the string, if I put f and then and like wherever I want to insert the variable, I put a curly braces and then type in selected movie. So this will embed, what do you call, the title of the movie into the, what do you say, into the uh, what do you call, into the markdown. If I just type in selected movie as raw text, what will happen is, okay, I can actually do that and test it. Yeah. Control J. I'll just run it and test it simultaneously so that I can explain what's going on. All right. Interesting. So avatar pops up. So I'll try to get rid of this next. So okay, instead of the F string, instead of that, I remove the F string and I just type in selected movie, the variable name. What will happen is always rerun. The string selected movie pops up. All right. So here, instead of that, I need the actual variable inside the value of the variable selected movie. So I use f strings and do that. After that, I need to do the tagline. Tagline will be anything. You can have it as an h2, have it as a paragraph. I'll have it as a paragraph since I think that's the most appropriate. Doesn't matter what you have it as. You can always change it in CSS. So tagline. All right. Now I get the, what do you call, header and the tagline. Now these things are markdown tags. It should not be visible into the, in the, what do you call, in the user interface. So let me figure out why they're being visible. Uh, Love HTML. True. So basically, when you want to insert HTML files, you need to also include this parameter too. So Streamlit considers, what do you call, brute forcefully inserting HTML files as unsafe. So you have to, what do you call, put in this parameter saying that we should allow unsafe HTML. After that, we get a beautiful, what do you call, beautiful thing saying, oh, we have avatar, enter the world of Pandora, instead of that ugly looking, what was that? It was a drop down menu. Yeah. Okay. So now we have a selected movie button. So if a movie is selected, okay, say for example, I change the variable number here from 0 to something else, 15, I get a different movie. Yeah. So as long as I have the ability to change this date variable using some other function or some button, I can manipulate whatever is here. All right. Okay. Now, before styling this, let us finish all the core components. Yeah. Now, after that, we need similar movies. So it's recommend. Yeah. This is what we used before. If we select a movie, uh, we need to find movies which are similar to it. So let me just write a comment. You write comments in Python using, what do you call, hashtags. Hashtag. This is the selected movie code. It starts from here actually. Selected movie. Control J. Now we want to find movies which are similar to it. In a previous implementation, we had a button called recommend. It's still implemented right now, so it will print out movies which are similar to, what do you call, the selected movie. All right. So this selected movie is whatever, and fortunately, our implementation logic was different, but fortunately, it aligned. But it usually won't. So it matches the title and gives movies which are similar to it. All right. So now we need a different logic. We wanted to, what do you call, as soon as we select a new movie, we wanted to, what do you call, display movies which are similar to it. So first, we can start with, what do you call, writing a header, st, wait, sorry, st dot header, similar movies, yeah. So it'll come here. We can completely get rid of the code where we implement a button click and movies similar to it will just pop up. So after that, we have our index here from the selected movie index. Yeah, this is our index. So, and the function to obtain similar movie indexes is uh, this thing, similar movies index and the embedding. So I can just call this function. So first I will get the index of the selected movie, because right now we have it in a state variable, we want it in a Python variable. I'll just say index is equal to st dot, what was the state variable, st dot session state, selected movie. Now I can troubleshoot this by actually making sure that this prints out the selected movie index. Since every time I do Control S, it refreshes the what do you call it? It does not refresh the entire state. It'll just make sure the changes are done, and it'll rerun the entire Python code. It will what do you call? It will ensure the state prevails and it won't get changed. So let me just print out the index and see what it returns. So the index is 15. It's returning 15, and let me ensure that it's of type int so that I can pass it to the function. Oh, interesting. So it's of type int. All right. So if I pass this index into the function similar movies, which we created in our last session, let me just copy the function definition. I'll just comment this out. Similar movies index embeddings is emb, which we which we extracted from opening the pickle file, and k is the number of movies they want to recommend. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll just keep it at 5, and I'll also assign this to a variable, recommended movies. Let me just similar is equal to this. So let me print out similar. So these are the movies which are similar to what was the selected movie? The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. Right? Now, what do we have to do? We have to run a for loop to make for loop to create divs uh, like, oh, I lost my other one. So we have to create a for loop to create what do you call blocks of movies. Right? So to begin with, we get the list of the movies we have. Now in Streamlit, there's like it's a visualization platform, yeah. So they have a what do you call an inbuilt feature to design tables. So if let me just run the other one too, to so that we can refer the what do you call the implementation we want to uv run streamlit new.py streamlit run new.py. So you want blocks, okay? So if you look at this, it looks like it looks like a table, yeah. Since Streamlit is a visualization platform in Python, they have tools to represent tables and all that. So to define a table with 3 columns, we can just do columns. Sorry, my spelling is bad. I just want 3 columns. That's good enough. Then for we'll create a for loop I in similar. So the thing is, when I'm creating for I in similar, yeah, okay, we can do this. For I in similar, st dot markdown do we need a markdown? No, we can just st dot subheader now since we define the columns as 3 columns and we want to put what do you call each movie in each column, we have to write some what do you call some proper code. So Instead of directly writing, so iterating through all the movies in the array, I will use the enumerate function using idx for idx I in enumerate similar. What idx I what the enumerate function does is it takes an array and it returns two values, the index and the what do you call and the value in there. I'll just print it out. Print idx comma I, right? So I also print out we are also printing out the similar and we are also printing out idx and I. It's running in this array. So this is the array that we are passing into the enumerate function, and it prints out the index of the thing and it also prints out the element. So why is this useful? Because when we are creating a column, when we are creating, this is 3, yes, 3 means, yeah, 3. We need to perform some arithmetic. Say for example, if there are 5 movies similar to it, currently there are 4, yeah. So since there are 4 movies similar to it, we cannot have all 4 movies in a row, one by one. We want, if for the fourth movie, we want to perform a modulo operation and keep it in the first column. So in order to do that, we need to have an enumerate function, right? So we will create with call with wait, what? Okay, so now we have to figure out which column we are going to place this movie on. First iteration will be this, yeah, 0 and 63. So column number we will define as calls idx mod 3. So what is this? What do you call? What does this return? Print call. Oh, what the hell is that? Interesting. So this is how you define a column. So with call and with st.container. st.container is basically a container in Streamlit. We'll enable border because we want it to look cool, or you can disable it, whatever you prefer. And our title. Okay, so now we have the setup ready. This is just basic code. You can just refer documentation and copy paste, or you can refer ChatGPT. So title is equal to df dot data. This is the data frame of our entire data set. We will locate I. I is the index of the movie in the data set, and we located I. And what do you want from I? The call, whatever is in the column title, yeah. So 63, it'll go to the row number 63 and it'll pull whatever is in title. If it's row number 0, it will pull out the, what will it pull out? It's a column called title, yeah, this thing, yeah. Whatever is here, it will pull out and store it into this variable. Same with tagline, df dot block I tagline, all right. So now you want to display the tagline, and so let me see if anything popped up in our thing. Okay, yeah, four containers popped up. So now we want to display our data about the movies into the containers, yeah. So how do we do that? We can do something similar to what we did here, which is markdown. Okay, but we want to add buttons, yeah. Streamlit is not necessarily built for Markdown files. The developers of Streamlit expect us to use Streamlit components. So we'll be using Streamlit components for this thing. So st dot subheader, and I can just pass in the title. So all the title, oh, it's big, bro, really big. Can I just change it to caption? Caption, it's small. Okay, interesting. Or what I can do is I can just put a markdown just for title, yeah. Instead of having the markdown for the entire display thing, just for title, I'll just be like, oh, H1, I'll have an H2 instead of an H1, and I'll close the H2. And of course, this will be an F string. I'm only having single quotes here because I'm going to finish it in one line. And what's the variable I want to store here? Title. And unsafe. Was it unsafe? Unsafe allow HTML is equal to true. This looks too large. Let me see H5 or something. Okay, that's great. So this looks better than whatever this is. So I'll just use Markdown. See, I can cheat sometimes. Yeah, I don't have to, be stuck with Streamlit. But if you want to have the best experience building with Streamlit, and if you want to have all the integrations and all that, the developers will try to, what do you call, enforce this on you, but they won't restrict you to just use Streamlit components. You can always use HTML components, and you can do your CSS styling and all that. So after that, oh, the caption looks somewhat okay for, what do you call, the tagline. So I'll just use st caption, and what is that, tagline. Yeah, it looks fine. Beautiful. Now, from here, these are movies similar to the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, I want to be able to select a movie and replace whatever is here. All right. Let me just zoom out because it looks really large. Okay. In order to do that, we will define two buttons. So with button one, I'll do st. If we click the button, we'll create a button. We'll create a button like this. If the button is clicked, so okay, let me define the button first. Select, and this is the, what do you call, the text on the button. And after that, we have to provide a key for the button so that we can identify the button later on. So since we are having a for loop, and we'll have multiple buttons, each key should be unique. So we need to make it, what do you call, we can make it unique by associating the button with the title or the index of the movie. Yeah, so we can say select from row 1 with index I. All right. So if the button is clicked, so this is how you define the button. Now I want to define the action, what will happen if the button is clicked. All right. So we want to update our session state, our state variable. Our state variable was, wait, what's happening? Selected movie index. Yeah, selected movie. Right. So I want to update this to whatever uh, the index of the movie which is in this column, yeah, in this block. So I want to update it, and I want to rerun the entire thing, rerun the program. So let's see if the selection thing works. So I select Rango. Oh, it's not changing. Interesting. So let me. So the button came in. The button pops up. The button works perfectly fine. So now let me just what do you call, try to debug what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to work. Print session state dot selected movie. So let me try printing it out and see if anything changes when I click the button. Yeah. Okay, let me get rid of all the other print statements I've enumerate. Okay. So 15 is the selected movie. When I click on a select button, nothing changes. It refreshes, it reruns, but nothing changes, which is not what we want. It's supposed to change. All right. Now, why is that not changing? Selected movie st dot select session state selected movie is equal to I or rerun. Let me just try commenting out the rerun one. 267. But without rerunning the thing, uh, this thing won't update. Let me go back to my reference code. All right, let's try refreshing the entire website. All right. Uh, I'm in a bit of a predicament right now. So what what we'll do right now is focusing on what we can control. Uh, we'll create one more button, which is required. We have one more session state variable, yeah, which is the list of movies we liked, right? So okay, I understand what's going on. So here, whenever we are rerunning, the entire Python script looks for all the session state assignments and reruns it. So it comes here. When I rerun the program, it comes back and assigns the variable back to 15, right? So that's not what we want. We want to define it in such a way that if there is a variable in session state, we should not uh, we should not assign the value 15 or whatever into it. So to do that, uh, if we'll put a condition if there is if selected movie, which is the session state name, in session state. So basically, in no in st dot session state will assign the value here. No, not in. If it's in, nothing will happen. if there's no value there, what we'll do is we'll create a new session state variable and assign the value 15. So we'll do something similar with the list or array, or whatever you're going to call it. In Python, it's called lists. Liked movie, liked movies. Not in session state. If it's not in session state, we'll assign it to an empty string. If it is in session state, we'll what do you call? We'll just keep whatever value we have updated over here. Yeah. So if as well, this should work. Yay, it works. I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. So this function works. Now we should be able to add these movies, add these indices to the what do you call, to the list we have here. Yeah, to the, where is it? Where's that list, bro? Liked movies. Yeah, we need to add these indices into the list here. So to do that, we need one more button. If so, we'll create a button the same way as we did before. st.button dot heart. Uh, Key is equal to f dot heart row 1. This one is because I'm planning on adding 3 more lists of movies like this, as you can see here, similar movies, and I'll have one for movies recommended to me. That's so this is the first row, so I'll add row 1. You can name it however you want, it does not matter. All right. So yeah, if it's there, st dot session state dot favorite, no, what is that, liked movies dot append, will append to the list I. So now we will rerun the program. Now instead of printing the session state, we'll print out the like movies. So to make sure that whatever we intend to happen is gonna happen. Let me also print a troubleshooting. Print what are we printing? The state variable. Oh, wait, what? No. Control S. Always rerun. Alright, so select heart. So now the variable like movies is empty. So when we heart Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian, the what do you call, 15 is being appended to the list. If we heart a different movie, that is also being appended to the list. If we click on heart same movie again, what's happening is it's being appended to the list again. In an ideal system, what we want is we want it to be removed from the list completely. All right. So to do that, we'll create the log. We'll implement the logic for that here. So if it's in the list, if I or if I in st dot, let me just copy this, Control S, Control C, and Control V. If I in, what will happen is we'll remove the movie. st.session state dot remove I, else we will add it. All right. So to make sure the new logic works, let me just refresh the entire page. Everything resets. So I select Chronicles. Oh, I select it. I heart it. I heart the movie. It appears in this thing. I heart it again. It gets removed. Right, but I want an indicator to see that if it's selected or not. So in order to do that, I can use emojis. All right. Also, so I can also have I can have a condition where which says if I in session state dot movies, it's sorry, this is what will be hearted heart if I in st.session state movies, or hearted if else, sorry, uh, if it's not in what do you call this session state movies, it will be displayed as hearted. All right, heart will be converted to hearted. Wait, what? Interesting. So if okay, if it's in the list, what do we want to show the user? If it's in the list, we want to tell the user that it's hearted. If it's not in the list, we want to tell the user it's not hearted. Right? Let me refresh the thing. So I can hearted, it'll change to hearted, and vice versa. Right? Instead of the bulky letters, I can keep a red heart and a white heart. Yeah. That also works. If I click on heart, it, what do you call it, colors or whatever. Otherwise, it just comes back to whatever, what do you call it, uncolored heart. All right, now that's it. We have a mechanism to add and remove movies from a list. All right. Now we have, like, whenever we select a movie, we get a list of movies which are similar to it in a column, and yeah, that's great. Now we want to do something similar when we search for a movie. So what we have right now, it just prints out the movie names with a subheader and all that. We want something more beautiful, something more, what do you call it? Let me comment out the print uh, what do you call it? Logging statements, which I use to make sure what's going on. So if I search and there is some results, what will happen? So this is the results of the movie, yeah? If, let me just, wait. This is the title, and that this is the data frame of the movie, and this is the, what do you call? This is the results. I think this will be the indices. Let me just go back to the, what do you call? Let me go back to the function where I defined it. Search movies. It will return the list of indices, and it will also return the data frame. right? No, the results will be titles, and the data frame will be the, what do you call, data frame with I, or the row. So SDF is essentially the row. Let me just comment this out, and we have a logic similar to what we had over here. If you think about it, we got the row, then after that we just uh, we got the row around here, then after that we just use markdown, and yeah, that's it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the exact same logic we used here. Similar, not exactly same, because we're calling a function, and display the list of movies which are the outcome of the search results. So we'll say calls is equal to st dot columns 3. Now for idx index, uh, since we are iterating through a data frame instead of a list, it will be a bit different. So the data frame returns two values when we enumerate them. So this is a garbage value, and this will be the actual row in enumerate. So in Python, if your function returns a garbage value, not a garbage value, a value which you do not need, we can just pass it to an underscore or a variable like this and just not use it anywhere else. Results, not results, s underscore df dot iterate through the rows. All right. Now we have our initial for loop. Now we'll do the code in the documentation. Modulus of 3. This is the column number we will be using. So if it's basically if it's an element in this thing, if it's the first element, we will be putting it in the first column. If it's the second element, we'll be putting it in the second column. If it's the fourth element, we'll do a modulus of 3 and put it in the first column. Yeah. So with call, with streamlit dot container, border is equal to true. Now I think from here on the code is extremely same. Let me just copy paste and modify it a bit. Right, st.container. Now I need to ensure that this is a bit to the right, to the left, and yeah. So instead of this, I can have, since I have the row here, since I'm obtaining the row, I can just say row dot title, row dot tagline, and I think, oh yeah, as I mentioned before, if there are like movies which are showing up in both recommended and the search, it'll create an error. Say for example, I'll just show you the error. So I have selected the movie Chronicles of Narnia, yeah, and okay, let me search up for year one. I did not know there was a movie like this. I'll search for this movie. An error pops up because the key value should be unique. There are two indices, two containers with the same key. Not same key, same button key. All right. So in order to what do you call avert that error, we'll call this row 2 and we'll call this heart row 2, and this should result in a code where let me just select Rango. Let me just search for Rango. Interesting. Make sure the key argument is unique for each element you create. Thing is, Rango appears again, but it's fine. All right. Before that, I forgot to have the subheader results here. Always rerun. So I fell into the same error which I tried to avoid, which is interesting. This is row 2, I, and this is row 2. I don't know why that's popping up. Movie. This is the index of the movie, and it's different. Maybe I'll add one more variable. I have IDX also, which is a unique identifying variable. I'll add IDX to this too. Right, I'll do the same here. I'm just doing modifications to the key so that I'll get a unique key every time. So yeah, it works. It's probably because somewhere in the for loop we're getting similar, what do you call the key is being synced, so that's the error. So there's too many results. Let me just try to reduce the number of results which are coming up. I think there is I can set a limit to 5. So yeah, there are 5 movies here, 5 movies there. So I can select a movie, Kingdom of Heaven. Interesting. Tango. Let me just refresh it. The website's tweaking. Alright, let me search up Batman. Let me try selecting it. And it's selecting Kingdom of Heaven, which is interesting. Batman Begins. Krull. So there's something wrong with the indexing, which I'll have to fix. So we'll get down with that. So selected movie is equal to I. Oh, that's the issue because we do not have an I here. What we have here is a row. So, and the row has a column. So instead of I, what we can do is we can just give IDX. I think IDX is the index of the data frame. So if that works, that should work, yeah. No, IDX is let me just print out everything so that I know what's going on, and I won't, let me just print out IDX, I, Control J, yeah. Control S, always rerun. Is it giving me an error? If the button is clicked, it'll print it out, yeah. Which button? The button in row 2. So 3, 80, 853. Interesting. So I is uh, the index. Let me go with something I'm pretty sure is correct. Avatar. Select 0 and 1875. So what I know now is IDX has the index of avatar. So, and this is some other value, which is of a random movie. So if I select avatar, Elizabeth is going to get selected, which is weird. Interesting, right? So if we select, if we just to IDX, let me search avatar. I click on it, avatar pops up. So I have a doubt, yeah, I'm not sure. Avatar might have popped up correctly because it is the first movie in the entire dataset. Let me try it for a different movie. Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. Interesting. Oh, okay. So IDX contains indices. If it's this one will be 0, this one will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just confirm my selection. This will be 2. Yeah. So we do not have a method to obtain the index of the movie yet. So we'll create a variable to do that. Movie index. Movie index. We have the title, we have all that. And we can easily obtain the movie index if we have all these. We just need to figure out, we have the data frame with us, which we defined on the top. If title is equal to row dot title, so wait, df dot title is equal to, oh, this is equality operator, not assignment. And then I want to find out, this will return the entire row, and I just want to know the, what do you call, the 0th value in the row, which is the index, and I will assign the state to movie index. All right. I'll do the same with hearting and unhearting. So let me make sure it works. All right. And I think IDX works. Then let me use movie index. That the reason for the error before could be that movie index might be repeated. Now let me refresh it. Let me search up Batman. Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Key error. df.dtitle dot index 0. So this, oh, okay. So the thing is, I forgot to put quotes. Yeah. Now I search a Batman. I select the movie. It pops up here. It gives me movies which are similar to Batman. I search up another movie, Iron Man. It gives me movies which are similar to Iron Man. Okay, now we have the search feature. Now we have the, what do you call, sentence transformer feature, where what do you call, which provides me movies which are similar to the movie I selected. I need one more feature. I want this application to give me movies which are similar to the movies I hearted. Like I might heart 3 to 4 movies. I might like more than one movie. Yeah, it automatically updates here. Interesting. I not heart these movies, but it's just updated here. Uh, Let me just troubleshoot that for a bit. At the end of each iteration, I want to print movie index. Okay, yeah. The reason why it was tweaking is because I copy pasted and I forgot to change the variable name. Now the thing won't tweak, hopefully. And there is something here. Let me just remove that. Yeah, the thing won't always rerun. Batman, Barman. All right. Dawn of Justice. It works. Even with a spelling mistake, the search function works. Now I told you, as I said before, we need to have a different function which does exactly what this function does, but for multiple movies. So now let's work on defining that function. So def recommend movies, and what I'm passing is just not one index but a list of indices. Um, I'll also pass in the embeddings, and then I'll pass in a k value. It's just fine. All right. After this, we need to get what do you call the vectors related to the movie. Yeah. So how do you get vectors? What do you call not vectors? Embeddings related to the movies. So I have five movies or something, and I want embeddings related to it. Sorry. So I will create a new variable, movie vectors. Vectors is equal to embeddings. This is the list of all the movies. This has like 5,000 rows. And I'll just pull out the embeddings of the movies I want. So you might be asking, how is this possible? This is not a valid code in Python. But if you remember from our previous session, the embeddings, what do you call? The variable for embeddings is not a basic Python list. It's a NumPy array. So in NumPy array, if you have a NumPy array called L is equal to 1, you can get these two variables by just typing out L01 and get everything by typing out something like this. So this works because embeddings is a NumPy array. All right. So after that, movie vectors. All right. So after that, we need actually embeddings is not an NumPy array. It's a similar type of like a fancy array called torch array. If you remember in our previous this thing, we imported torch in the beginning of the lecture to what do you call to do the sentence transformer. So to actually perform operations on it, we will be converting the vectors we obtained into NumPy arrays. Yeah, movie vectors dot NumPy. This is a torch function where we can convert the torch tensor into NumPy, right? Into a NumPy vector. Now there are multiple ways we can, or let me just, I forgot a colon here. There are multiple ways you can obtain what do you call uh, an array, an embedding, which is a combination of all the movies you passed in. One such way is just using the mean. You can just either you can do something like finding similar embeddings for all the movies and doing union of all of them. One that's also a valid method. There are multiple methods you can use for this, but for this purpose of this tutorial, I'll be using a simple method, which is just finding the mean. There's a handy function in NumPy to do this, which is mean vector. I'll just also create a new variable called mean vector, which is np. I hope I imported NumPy. I don't think I did. I'll do it there. Import NumPy as np. np dot mean movie vectors, which is the vector with all the embeddings of the movies we selected. Um, Axis is equal to 0. I think it's because this is for, we want it as a row vector, not like some column vectors as tensors usually are. And it's basic, this is supposed to deal with it, but we'll ensure that it's a row vector by using this transformation. This is the transformation of converting a row vector in NumPy into a, in a column vector in NumPy, which will be something like 1, 2, to something like this, yeah, something which like we are all used to. So this is what this function does, and it also aggregates like 3 to 4 vectors and finds the mean of all the vectors. It's like a big what do you call it? Finding the average of all the vectors. So now after that we just have one vector, right? We don't have 5 different vectors. So what can we do after that? We can just use the same function we used here, which is cosine similarity. Similar is equal to cosine similarity, and wait, what? Interesting. Let me just put the imports outside the function. Cosine similarity, movie, not movie vector, mean vector, and the embeddings is the same, what do you call it, format as this one. Um, and then we'll flatten it, right? And then we will, what do you call it? We will sort it, and no, this we will sort it according to what do you call it? We'll add weights. Basically, cosine similarity adds weights, yeah. So we will do something to it, and after that, we'll just write a basic sorting algorithm. IDX. This is the list of indexes which we're gonna return. np.argsort. We discussed these functions in the previous session. I'm just gonna type it out again. -1. What is k? And till k, right? And return the list of indexes. So I did a step-by-step breakdown in the last session. You can watch it on YouTube. Yeah. All right. So we got recommended movies based on the list of based on, if we pass in an array, we can get movies. We can get a list of indices. So this is awfully similar to what we had here. Yeah. Similar movies. We we just pass in. We just call a function. We get some arrays and we just display them. So instead of coding it out, I'll just copy this. I'll go to the bottom of the thing, paste it, and now I'll start changing movies. Just start changing variable names and all. Recommended for you. Index is equal to, this is not what we want. We want IDX is equal to, no, index is equal to, no, we do not need the index at all here. So we need to replace this similar function with a similar or with a similar variable. We'll call it recommended IDX, which is recommended index, and we'll call it recommend movies. And what are we going to pass into it? We're going to pass into it a list of movies. A list of movies. Where do we have that? In our session state. And the session state variable is called liked movies. And we also need to pass in the embeddings. I don't think so. We can predefine in the function if we want, but for the sake of convenience, we'll just pass it here, and we'll specify the number 5. Now from here on, I can just replace the word similar with recommend IDX, and it should work. Also, I need to change this into row 3 because otherwise the keys won't be the same. And yeah, I think, all right, I'm seeing an error because right now there's nothing inside the index. So if there's nothing inside the index, we do not want this column at all. So what we can do is we can envelop this entire code under an if function. If sd.sessionState.liked movies is not equal to an empty list, we do this. No error pop. Let me refresh it to make sure it's fine. All right. Okay, recommended for you. Let me hide that within this, yeah, because it looks sluggy. And let me make it a subheader. Right. All right. So I have Chronicles of Narnia, which is a default selected movie, as I've defined here. Where was it? As I defined here, I can select it to put it something else. Let me see, what is that? 53. Always rerun. It's definitely not Chronicles Prince of Narnia. Okay, Indiana Jones and movies related to that. Let me heart this movie. And yeah, I'm getting movies related to Oz and all that. So let me select search of Spider-Man. I'm getting results for Spider-Man. What I'll do is I'll heart a bunch of interesting liked movies, remove movie index. And now whereas X is not on the list. So what's happening is it's trying to remove Spider-Man where Spider-Man is not on the list, which is an interesting thing. So where did I define all the searched movies? It's somewhere around here. Is it here? This is selected movie, similar movies, and this is where I define searched movies, and yeah, hard to IDX, movie IDX. All right, remove movie IDX. If it's in the session state, remove it. Oh, if I is in the session state, remove it. That's the error, right? Sorry for that. I think our state won't, will our state go? Let me search. I've hearted Oz, it's still hearted. Let me just heart Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, all that. Now what will happen to recommended movies? It's just Spider-Man, yeah, Spider-Man Kick-Axe. So if you look at it, whenever we have all the features we require, if I search up Batman, I get movies, I get results of Batman. It could be in a better order, it could be in a column-wise order, but the UI looks much more user friendly, and a user can actually know what's going on here rather than just printing out data frames. Yeah. So we have developed an application. We have written backend code for it. We have prototyped it using what do you call Streamlit. We have made a simple prototype. We have a user, what do you call a user profile. If a user stars a movie, we can recommend movies to him. Right now, it's just being stored in cache. Say, if I refresh the movie, what will happen is, let me just search up Spider-Man so so that you may understand. These movies are hearted, yeah? So if I refresh the thing, it's all gone. All the state variables are gone, yeah? Instead of, to avoid this, similar to how we stored the, what do you call, store the embeddings in a pickle file, you can store the state variables in a JSON file or a pickle file or whatever, and load it again every time you open the application. Or you can store it into a database or whatever, so that any user can, multiple users can access this application, and each of them will have their own set of movies. And yeah, I think that is it for this month's micro project. Next week, we'll be going over questions or any doubts that you may have. And thank you for attending. If you want to work on this project more, here are some ideas that I thought of. See, there are multiple functions here, yeah? You can just convert these functions into what do you call API methods and write a front end code. You don't have to write the front end code. You can just ask Lovable to write code for you and call the backend API and make a beautiful application, because Streamlit is for data visualization and prototyping. It's not for beautiful front end applications. Nobody's going to create Netflix using Streamlit. It's just for understanding how, what do you call, machine learning algorithms work. Most of the times it's hosted on some backend code. The machine learning algorithms and the algorithms used are hosted on a backend server. Here you can develop the backend server using Fast API and host it on a free service such as Render. And you can make public API calls to Render using a front end you develop using Lovable or something. Yeah, that's one way to go about it, because we live in a world of vibe coding and all that. And what other thing you can do is you can just deploy it directly on Streamlit. I won't be going over through it. It's simple. You can just refer to the docs. There's a deploy button. Then you'll have to sign in, make an account, and deploy the application under your name. I suggest making some more changes and making it more unique and personalized, so that you won't just be another movie recommendation system out there. And you can put it on your resume if you like. See, the best thing I would suggest you is explore, try tinkering with the code, what we have. Try tinkering with the code, and yeah, good luck. So that's it for this week's sessions. If there's any doubt, you can just type it out in the chat. The chat will be open for 5 more minutes. And we'll be doing some interesting things next week. The project, as it was planned, is over today. Yeah.